Check this out. What's going on, guys? I'm Reese Bowers. Welcome to Built from the Bottom. What's going on, guys? I'm back here with the 2014 Yamaha R1. This is the bike that everyone has been wanting to see me finally build. I just got something in for it that's gonna make me take action on starting to build it. So right here is the headlight assembly. The old headlight assembly, it was still good, like it still worked and whatnot, but all these tabs right here were broken off when it crashed. So I couldn't use this. I could technically use this, make it work, but for when a bike this nice, I want it to be perfect. And even on not nice bikes, I want them to be perfect. So I just got in the fairing kit for this bike. NT Fairing sent me this custom fairing kit in Nardo gray. I asked them to do the same color as the BMW M4, and this looks great. I am so excited to do this bike build. I already put all the little tabs in to use the OEM hardware. They're already all in there, and I started putting together these side pieces right here. Put the little wheel piece on, and then these were a little complex, so put this all on. This is like a 3-piece thing. The other side was broken, so I had to like glue it back together. I already took the tank off of this bike because the tank is steel and I need to go get it color matched. The rest of this Nardo gray, that's at the paint shop right now getting done. And then we come over to the back. You can see there's just a whole bunch of grindings, mess everywhere. That's because I already cut this subframe. So I have a 2015 tail for this bike right here. I already kind of pieced it together. And the goal is to make it fit on this bike. So I'm still like trying to figure out how exactly to fabricate that tail onto there. But I'm just gonna start working on the front end of this bike, hopefully getting all this together. So I'm gonna put that headlight assembly inside the front cowling and then start piecing up this whole front end of the bike. Alright, so I got this headlight in here, and whew, that thing looks sick. And then over here, I already put up the hardware that's going to hold it into the front stay bracket, but I saw that there's actually a problem right here that I need to take care of before I put this headlight assembly on. So this is the main plug that goes in for the headlights, and you can see right here, you can see the wires are really messed up, and then the ground wire is just completely broken off. So I'm going to cut them all about right here, and then wherever this splices up at the top, cut all those other wires, heat shrink it, solder it, put it all together. I got this harness wired up right there. That's actually really hard to do with the wires being so short, and I can only push the heat shrink so far up. And then when I solder it, it wants to shrink the heat shrink. So got that all put together nice and well. Now I'm just gonna wrap it up with some electrical tape and then put this headlight assembly on. Dang, this thing looks sick. So I'm just gonna kind of mock up, I think, the windscreen on it. And now I'm gonna go to putting on the side belly fairings. I know I'm gonna have to pull these side belly fairings off again because I don't have the air rams for this bike yet, but I wanna get as much mocked up as possible because the more I put it together, then I realize exactly what I'm missing. So then it only takes me one more time to order all the parts I need to get this bike up and running. So I'm gonna put on these side belly fairings. I need to cut the heat shield for the lower pieces. And yeah, let's get into it. Dang, this thing looks absolutely sick. I love this nardo gray so much. So I got this whole front end of it put on properly. I just kind of mocked up these air ram cover pieces, waiting for the air ramps to come in. And now I'm gonna start moving over here to the tail of the bike. And I just actually spent like a couple hours online trying to figure out how to get this tail to fit on there, because I read on a forum and this is the way they were saying you are supposed to have to cut it, but this isn't the way you're supposed to cut it. I actually found this guy in Houston. He has like a vinyl wrap company that he did it to his R1, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see here on the camera. I kind of drew where it has to get cut. You have to come down here all the way up, keep this piece right here, and then loop all the way around because it's too wide up here at the top to fit that tail section. And you're not gonna be able to have a passenger after doing this, but I don't know, it's an R1, you really don't want to put a passenger on this bike anyways. But I'm gonna start cutting this all the way across, and then I'll be able to get that mocked up properly. And he also talked about how you have to drill some holes right here to mount that underside piece. That is a cut right there, so check that out. This looks really thin on camera, but it's decently sturdy. Like, it's definitely not weak, but you know, if I really pushed on this I could snap it, so no passengers for me. But I also grinded down all the edges on this. What I think I'm gonna do once I get the tail 100% mocked up is mask off this section and just spray it with some matte black paint so it looks all clean. But I grinded this, it's really nice and smooth. And also I drilled holes right here. I'm gonna put, I put screws in the meantime, just so I can like hold everything up. I'm gonna put a nut and bolt to hold in this piece. So right there is gonna be a mounting point, and then there's gonna be another part where you drill through, and then you use that as a holding point back there too. So I'm gonna kind of place this thing on there real quick and see how it looks. This makes me so happy to see this bike starting to look like this. So I got this tail on here, and oh man, it looks so good. So look at that right there. It honestly it's in there pretty nice. I have this little plate right here for this area, which I think I'm gonna be able to, like, I might have to recut a piece out of just like aluminum and then like make it match this little section so it'll hold up in there. But other than that, I think I might have to cut this back piece out because the tail light, the back end of this is hitting the subframe. But I'm gonna order like the tail light that goes on the R1M, which has like the integrated turn signals in it, because this is just like the standard version right here. Let's see if you guys can get an understanding of it. So that'll go in there, but it'll be blacked out with the turn signals on it. But yeah, this looks so cool. I don't think I'm gonna be able to use this tray that sits inside of there, so I'm gonna take everything off of that real quick. And for the seat, I think, where's that little bracket at? So this bracket right here, it goes on to these mounting bolts right here, go on right there, and then this thing kind of folds down. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is cut the edges off of this and then put it underneath this little plastic piece right here and then drill holes through so then I can mount the seat on like that. But other than that, this thing is looking so cool. It's getting really late right now though. I'm probably about to call it a night. It is, let's see what it is. It's like 3:50. So I'm gonna call it a night right here, clean up, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. It's the next day right here. Can't tell because we're inside, but I cut this frame a little bit more last night, and this is the official weight. The subframe on a 2014 needs to be cut to fit a 2015 tail. So if you look right here, I put this little plastic piece in there too. So this tail right there. So this right here on the edge is how the back end of it needs to be cut so it can fit the tail light. And then you have to cut off the tabs right here so then the tail can sit flush with it. So I saw the other guy on YouTube that did his subframe. He ended up throwing out this plastic piece, but I want to be able to like keep it as OEM as possible. So I cut this, I cut the bottom part off of it, and then around the edges on the back end, and then cut the whole back side off. So I'll be able to put this inside of here and it will be able to hold the fuse box, and then I can put the tip over sensor in right there, and then this relay fits on that tab right there. So I also drilled the holes for where the plastic, the underside of the tail sits. So I drilled a hole right here, and then I drilled a hole right here on the frame. And also, since the next day, we got a couple more things going on out here. I have the ZX-10R. I ended up getting the tap to put in the side caps for the timing chain. So I actually had to pull this cover off right here to tap this all the way because it's not going in, because it's hitting the piece on the back side of that. So I'm gonna pull this cover off. And then over here, I got my CBR 600RR on the trailer because tomorrow I have to take this up to Tampa to go get what the certificate of rebuilt, where they inspect it and then they see the receipts for the stuff that I bought to put on it to rebuild it. And also when I go over there, I'm going to be dropping off the paperwork to get the VIN re-stamped for this bike right here, because I don't know if you guys remember, this thing doesn't have a VIN on it. I got the wheel just powder coated for that right there. It's over at my neighbor's. But for the R1, I just picked up the tank for it. So right here. So we're gonna get putting this on the bike, and then they sent me this extra tail piece. I'm gonna throw this out, but that matches up perfectly. And over here is my powder coated wheel. So I think before I get into all that, I'm gonna pound the bearings into this thing and then take it over to Soul Rebel Cycle and get them to mount up my tire. They've been hooking it up. All right, so that wheel is actually too hot to start putting the bearings in and everything. So what I'm gonna do now is, actually before I start doing this tail stuff, I'm just gonna install this tank and mount it all up. And then I'll do the tail, and then by the time that's all done, I should be able to go pound the bearings into that wheel over there and take it to go get the tire mounted, so then this CBR can be completely done, and then I'm gonna list it for sale. I'm gonna be selling this bike. It's a 2007 Honda CBR 600RR with 13,000 miles on it. So I'll be listing that on Facebook Marketplace. I know people message me if they want to buy one of my bikes. This one will be listed by the time this video is up. So let's get into working on this R1. Well, I feel like I should explain what I just did a little bit. So this was an OEM plastic right here, and on the OEM plastics, they have all these little like foam pieces that help it so when this sits up against like a tank, it doesn't creak. Always try to take off all these little foam tabs and then glue them back on to the aftermarket set of fairings so I don't get any of that creaking. So that's that. Gotta bolt that onto this and then bolt it up to the bike. This bike looks so good. I don't know how I feel about the red, and I've been thinking about the wheels. I think I want to do the wheels black and then put like the white stickers around the edges of them and then do all that stuff like white up there, or just black it all out. That's the current thought on it, but I don't know. It has all these red accents already on it that I'm gonna have to switch over. But this tank looks so good. So it's like 4:30 right now, so I'm gonna put these bearings in and hopefully I can get that to the tire people to get the tire mounted up on it before they close. So I'll be back at this once I get the bearings in this and the tire mounted. And I'm back here at the shop. I got the wheel right here. I'm not gonna put that on that bike yet because it really doesn't matter for this video. It's not very entertaining, but I'm gonna come over here and start actually finishing up this rear tail of the bike. I'm gonna start by kind of sorting all the electrical stuff and getting this mocked down properly. Then put in the battery tray, or I gotta put the pegs on and then the undertail before I can put the battery tray in, because you can't access these bolts with the battery tray in. So let's get right into it. So this is kind of how everything goes together in here for the back part. So you got your tip over sensor right there, and then you got your relay and the fuse box. Hopefully this stuff clears with the seat right there. Then back here you got your tail light wires, and then these two are for the blinker. Then this is for the tag light, which I'm not gonna have a tag light on this bike. So now I'm gonna start mocking up that underside of the tail. Check this out. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. This is my dream bike right here. A 2014 front end with the 2015 tail. This is gonna be the bike that like I ride. Out of all the bikes I got, the ones I plan on keeping is this and then my Ducati over there. So I'm gonna probably finish the video right about here. I ordered the wheels for it, so those will be coming in, and I also ordered the air rams. So next video, you guys will see this thing start up and me actually like riding it, which is unbelievable because I'm gonna be so excited to ride this bike. But for this tail, there's a couple more things that I need to do. You can see I put my little built from the bottom license plate on there. Got this thing looking pretty cool. I put a little tail light in, just I had this laying around for the R6 over there. So you'll see there's a gap right in this still. I'm probably gonna do like a black plate that I powder coat, like maybe like BFTB, like built from the bottom on this little plate down in there. So like maybe like custom towards like me building it. And then in here, I still have to make some sort of bracket hook shape thing that goes on, and then I bolt it on, and then I'll make it so that the hard cowling can clamp into it. And then also underneath here, all of that, I just need to hook the battery up and, you know, kind of wire everything up and figure out what I'm gonna do with the bracket that holds the seat down. Because if you see the way this seat sits right here, it fits up here good, but then it doesn't cover over here. And what I'm thinking about doing is buying the 2015 seat, cutting it in half, putting the foam together, and then getting my neighbor down there to make a custom seat cover for it. But other than that, like, this tail conversion looks so good on these bikes right here. Can't wait. I'm doing a black cowling on the top. I might wrap it the same color as this or get it painted, but I think black will look good going all the way up. Other than that, like, this thing is looking so good. So that's it for right now, you guys. I'll catch you later, and hopefully I'll be working on the 2007 R1. Peace out.